If you have been scrolling through your feed lately, you have seen it. The aggressive shark nose grille, the muscular cantilevered fenders, the promises of a 6.2-liter LT2 V8 roaring under the hood of a massive, rear-wheel drive American sedan. The headlines are screaming that the king is back. They tell you that General Motors has finally come to its senses and is resurrecting the Chevrolet Impala for the 2025 model year to save us all from a boring electric future. It is a beautiful story. It is the story every gearhead in America wants to believe, and it is also a complete, total, and absolute lie. Welcome to our channel. Today we are not just busting a myth, we are performing an autopsy on the American automotive industry. We are going to look past the clickbait and the AI-generated fantasies to show you exactly why the 2025 Chevy Impala does not exist, why it cannot exist, and what General Motors is actually hiding in its design studios. This is the story of a phantom flagship, a factory that was gutted, and the uncomfortable reality of where your V8 performance is actually going. Buckle up, because the truth is a lot more complicated than a YouTube thumbnail. Let's start by dissecting the hoax itself, because the sophistication of this deception is genuinely impressive. If you type 2025 Chevy Impala into a search bar right now, you are going to get hit with a tsunami of slick videos. They claim the car starts at $48,500. They claim it revives the legendary 396 badge. They claim it's a modern masterpiece. But look closer. These images aren't photos. They are hallucinations. They are the product of generative AI models like Midjourney, scraping the internet for the coolest parts of a C8 Corvette and an Audi A7, and mashing them together into a vehicle that makes zero engineering sense. The specs they feed you are the biggest giveaway. One rumor insists the car has the mid-engine LT2 V8 from the Corvette Stingray, but somehow mounted in the front of a sedan. Do you have any idea the engineering cost required to reconfigure a mid-engine intake and accessory drive system for a front-engine layout? GM isn't going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to re-engineer a Corvette engine for a dying sedan segment. Another rumor claims it's an EV with an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission. Folks, EVs use single-speed reduction gears. Putting a heavy, complex DCT in an electric car is like putting a cassette deck in an iPhone. It's a contradiction that proves the script was written by a bot, not an engineer. But let's put the fake news aside and look at the hard industrial reality. The biggest reason you aren't getting a 2025 Impala is strictly logistical. You need a factory to build a car. The Impala used to call the Detroit Hamtramck Assembly Center home. It was a massive facility churning out big steel sedans. But when the last Impala rolled off the line in February 2020, GM didn't just lock the doors, they gutted the place. They spent $2.2 billion tearing out the tooling to create Factory Zero. Today, that plant is the launchpad for the GMC Hummer EV and the Silverado EV. The robots in that building are programmed to weld heavy battery structures, not unibody sedans. For GM to build a new Impala, they would have to kick a six-figure Hummer EV off the line to build a low-margin sedan. In the ruthless arithmetic of modern manufacturing, that is financial suicide. The physical capacity to build this car simply does not exist within the General Motors ecosystem anymore. Now you might be screaming at your screen, but what about the pictures? I saw the car. And you are right. You did see a car, but it wasn't an Impala, and it wasn't in Detroit. This is the most twisted part of the story. In November 2022, Chevy unveiled a concept called the FNR-XE. It is a stunning, low-slung, aggressive electric sedan with a fastback profile and muscular haunches. It looks exactly like what a modern Impala should be. But here is the catch. It was developed by GM's Pan-Asia Technical Automotive Center strictly for the Chinese market. In China, people still buy sedans as status symbols. Executives like to be driven in them, so GM built the FNR-XE to fight the BYD Han and the XPE NGP7 over there. The content farms stealing these images are banking on the fact that you don't follow the Chinese domestic market. They take a real photo of a real Chevy, slap an Impala logo on the thumbnail, and watch the ad revenue roll in. It is a real car, but it is trapped behind a tariff wall and a completely different regional strategy. To understand why GM isn't bringing that car here or building a gas version, we have to look at the competition. Look at what happened to the legends. The Ford Taurus? Gone? The Nissan Maxima? Dead? The Toyota Avalon? Replaced by the Crown? a lifted hybrid weirdo that only sold about 19,000 units last year. The market for large, non-luxury sedans has collapsed. It has evaporated. Families are buying Tahoes and Traverses. The only outlier is Dodge. And looking at Dodge actually proves GM's point. Dodge killed the Hemi Charger and replaced it with the 2025 Charger Daytona. It's electric, it's controversial, and it has that fake fratsonic exhaust noise to try to trick your brain into thinking it has a soul. But look at the price tag. The electric Scat Pack starts over $73,000. That is not a people's car anymore. That is a luxury toy. GM looks at that and says, why bother? If they want to sell a high-performance EV, they have the Blazer EV-SS. If they want to sell a high-performance legend, they have the Corvette E-Ray. An electric Impala would just be cannibalizing their own sales in a segment that is already on life support. Furthermore, the bones for a rear-wheel drive gas sedan are gone. The Alpha platform, which gave us the incredible handling of the Camaro and the Cadillac CT5, is sunsetting. The Camaro is out of production. The Cadillac sedans are ending their run around 2026. GM is actively retiring the architecture that would make a RWD Impala possible. They are not investing in new gas platforms for passenger cars. Their entire 2025 strategy is bifurcated. High-margin gas trucks on one side and the Ultium electric platform on the other. There is no middle ground for a nostalgic V8 cruiser. We also have to talk about the physics of the future. The Ultium platform is a skateboard. The battery is in the floor. That makes the floor thick, 4 to 6 inches thick. If you try to build a low-slung sedan on top of that, you run out of headroom. That is why every new EV is a crossover or a lifted sedan like the Polestar 2. To build a sleek, low Impala like the renders show, you would need a bespoke platform that GM simply isn't making. So, where does that leave us? It leaves us with a hard truth. The 2025 Chevrolet Impala is a ghost. It is a collective hallucination born from the fact that we miss the days when a working-class American could buy a big, comfortable, powerful cruiser. We miss the era of the dominant domestic sedan. But General Motors is a data-driven company, and the data says you stopped buying them a decade ago. However, history is funny. Names rarely stay dead forever. Dodge brought back the Hornet. Ford brought back the Maverick. It is entirely possible that come 2027 or 2028, when aerodynamics becomes the most important factor for EV range, Chevy might dust off the Impala badge. But it won't be for a V8 muscle car. It will be for a super sleek, wind-cheating aero sedan designed to squeeze 400 miles out of a battery pack. But for now, if you want a V8 Chevy sedan, you need to go find a used Chevy SS or take really good care of your 2019 Impala. The video you saw on your feed was a lie. The factory is building electric trucks. The V8 is reserved for the Corvette and the Silverado. And the Impala is history. What do you guys think? Is GM making a massive mistake by handing the entire electric muscle car market to Dodge? Or are they smart to stay out of a dying segment? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one.